in my Shelby race car. The real deal. I can't. Oh, eventually I'll get going.
Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. And recently I listed all 40 of my cars for sale, but I stopped myself at 23. So I sold a little over half of my cars, and that left me with a pretty good nest egg. The largest amount of cash that I have ever had in my entire life. And a wise person would probably invest that wisely. Graham Stevens watching this guy, to choke the screen. Tyler, put it in real estate, put it in the stock market. And I can't do that. So obviously, I've been car shopping, and the car that I found is really the car of my dreams, and it is a vessel for me to achieve a lifelong goal, and that is to get into vintage racing. And it is the real deal, a 1966 Shelby GT350H Rent-A-Racer, one of 1,000. Unlike my green one that was just a tribute, this is the real deal. We're gonna go to just north of Dallas to pick it up. We're gonna take my trusty Steed, the conversion van, a wonderful machine which I'll give a 1-year update on. Borrowed my neighbor's trailer. I'm up at the crack of dawn for YouTubers, and that's 9 in the morning to hit the road and pick up my dream car. So there was no way that I was selling this van in my sell-a-thon, and if I did, I'd just go buy another one because they are that good. This is definitely the MVP of my fleet. 2016, bought it with 40-something thousand miles, now at 52, so about 10,000 miles in the last year. Flawless ownership. It's hauled multiple families on trips all over the country, and also gone to go pick up several cars like today, and been on a few car treks to help out if something were to break. And usually I'm driving it and then somebody's in the back taking a nap. I think Tavares is taking a nap back there. A few friends of mine have. But now we're picking up the most expensive and significant thing this van has ever hauled, and since it's a 3/4 ton truck basically, it tows great. I don't understand why people buy trucks and never use the beds when you get something like this and have so much practicality when it comes to hauling people or comfort with the family, and then still have something that can tow. With a giant TV and limo lighting and all that stuff, it really is just the perfect machine. And I have this over, say, an Escalade, which is more expensive any day of the week. But we're getting close. We're getting close to the Mustang. Trusty Steed. All right. Here we go. Gary?
Hey, Tyler.
How's it going?
Good. Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, here it is.
The cover's on it, so I guess we can do the unveil here. Oh, man. It's the colors. It's beautiful. So a 66 Hertz Rent-A-Racer. One of 1,000 or 1,001, right?
Yep.
The word racer applies much more to this one than, say, a normal Hertz car, because it's had a very interesting life. Wow. It sure doesn't look like it was raced, though.
Well, that's all that protective film that's on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see it there. Holy moly. And full-out race car on the inside. Missing, well, it still has part of the dash. Bull bar, pop-in steering wheel. Oh, but it's perfect. All right, may I? Well, I guess I bought it, right?
It's your car.
Yeah.
It's your car.
You told me on the phone the money was already spent, right?
That's right. I spent it already.
A new GT500 on the way for Gary here. Okay. Well, that wasn't so bad. I fit. It was made for me. Now, you said the clutch was heavy. It's like a light switch, isn't it?
Yep. It's on or off. Good for the racetrack.
Okay. Well, can we start it up?
Yeah, so let me prime it.
All right.
Again, it's got an AccuSump, so it'll move the motor.
All right.
Right back here, this lever. So you just open that up and it's pressurized.
And that's for oil to prime up the engine, because it's, well, basically a racing engine, so you don't want to start it up dry and, you know, burn things up cold.
Yep, yep.
So how long does that need to run? Just that
yeah,
whoosh of air?
It's probably good now.
Okay, so
So neutral.
Neutral. Yes. That switch.
Switch. Ignition. Fuel.
Right. Fuel.
Okay.
Start button.
Start button.
Any pumps at all, or?
Should be good.
Whoa.
Pretty good for a dead cold, huh?
Yeah. With that side pipe exhaust.
Wow. Of course, that 110 fuel in it probably makes it start really.
Right.
She may not, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, let it warm up a little bit.
Yeah.
At least we can hear ourselves talk anyway. Should I turn off the fuel pump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just hit that switch down there.
Yep. Got it. Okay.
$289.
Yes.
12-to-1 compression.
And there's the...
Legal B production race motor.
Yes, I've seen these things race for so many years at Laguna Seca and other places, and always wanted to be a part of the action, but of course never had the car, and now I have no excuses. Here it is. And it's hard to believe that this is a race car that was raced, a lot, because it is so clean.
Yeah, you see the stickers on the windshield from the Rolex and Sonoma. And
Wowza. All right, well, let's take a peek underneath. I already saw all the pictures, but it's just insane. I mean, people would think this is a rebody, but it's not. It's just because of the story somewhat, which this thing has quite a story. So you have complete ownership history here, starting with, well, the original title, which they buy it in '66?
no, it's a '66 Shelby. He got it. I think he got it in '67.
How much did you pay for it?
Was it 18? No, wait. $2,442.
I paid slightly more for it, even with inflation.
Came out of Canyon Ford in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow. And yeah, and just all his story. My favorite part's probably the photos, though, of the period when he found it sitting for years. Of course, this is after, but
Here, right here.
Yeah, there it is. Lived as a hill climber and a dragster for years until it was, I imagine, motor blue.
1975 in storage, and then again 1998 was sold like this, and then Tommy took it and restored it into this race car.
Yeah.
And there he is with it out on the racetrack at Laguna Seca, Sonoma, Sears Point. And it was very competitive car, and still is, because it's a legal B production race car. So it meets all the specs of a '66 B production car. So no exotic stuff. The way they raced them back then. And then of course we get into kind of currently what it looks like today.
Well, and so all this is mine: an extra seat, original dash pinnacle and gauges. It's mine. I guess I'll take all this and load it in the van, and then I'll take it around the block at least before I put it on the trailer. I think I just have to. I have to. So yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. But this is definitely a light switch. I mean, it is on or off for sure. All right. Okay, I'm gonna need both hands to work the steering wheel, so let's just attach it here. There we go. Okay. Around the block. First drive in my Shelby race car. The real deal. I can't. Oh, eventually I'll get going. crazy race car. Whoa. I can't wait to really give this thing a drive, but I gotta get home. But first, let's stop. Let's just look at this thing and talk about how special it is.
This is unfreaking believable. And another thing that's hard to believe is when the Ford Mustang came out in 1964, the executives were very, very worried about the car. They thought it was going to be another thing made fun of, to be a secretary's car or something like that, not the sports car that they intended for the Mustang to be. So Lee Iacocca actually went to Carroll Shelby and asked him, hey, how do we make these things appeal to man's men, if you will? How do we get these things racing and involved in motorsport? And Carroll was basically like, I got this, and this was the creation, the GT350. If you've seen the recent Ford versus Ferrari movie, you probably already know the story of basically Ford trying to buy Ferrari and Enzo giving him the middle finger, and that lighting a fire for them to beat Ferrari on the track. That was with the Ford GT40, but this was Shelby's production car. Now these 66s are really special because they were still built by Shelby's team out of a hangar in California, along with the Cobras. And after this, well, Ford kind of took over production of the Shelby Mustangs, built sort of on the assembly line with all the other Mustangs, so they're not quite as special. Now, what makes this one very interesting is it was a Hertz rent-a-racer. Hertz actually had the bright idea, you could rent a racer, a real 300 plus horsepower Shelby, and that's what this started life as. And the rumors go, a lot of people race these things on the weekends, or they stole the engine out of them, swapped over parts to their homebrew Mustangs, and a lot of them were destroyed. I'm not sure how many are left on the Shelby registry, but a lot of them were ruined or wrecked when they were Reynolds, or lost to time when they became worthless old cars. And this one, well, this one was very lucky, because after it was sold as a rent-a-racer and not destroyed, somebody used it as a dragster and a hill climb racer, and then when the motor blew, they just parked it. They left it alone, and it sat for decades. And now that I have it, and I barely know this thing a little bit, let's start a tour of it, and I'm going to tell you what my plans are for this car. So this is what they call a Group B race car, and there's a very strict set of rules to be in this group, to race basically 65 and 66 Mustangs, mostly Shelbys, and this one follows all the rules to a T, almost to a detriment in some ways, where you could actually do some things and it still be legal. The first one is no windows. No windows at all. You need to have the windows down, obviously, when you're racing, so you can do hand signals, and you can't really have, say, the stock glass windows in this car, so you would have to source, say, the racing version of it, which is some Lexan that you would pull up with a strap. And, well, I think I'm going to do that with this car because I do want to drive it on the street occasionally and be able to park it. And not having windows, it just kind of opens up the invitation for anybody to come in. Not to mention rain. If it started raining, then, well, what do? You just get wet. And on the inside, there's really not much to stop anybody from stealing this car. Instead of a key, it's just a switch. That's it. You hit these switches and the starter button and you're off. So anybody could drive off with this car. Probably not a bad idea to make this into a key and then maybe a dummy switch somewhere, like my old Mustang that I had, to where somebody couldn't just, put the wires together and drive off with it. But you can see the glass here. It's not glass. It is plastic. It is Lexan. You can see this goes inside to the cabin for airflow. Obviously, you have these windows down. You want air flowing out of the car, so there is an opening there which you can leave alone. You have this to sort of hold the glass in. Full roll bar, obviously. No bumpers. You have a tow hook. The trunk, no latch. It's just a clip, and no fuel tank, but a fuel cell. Racing legal, would definitely leave that alone. You can see the setup here for the fuel system and the engine hour meter, kind of like a boat or a race car. This thing has 20 hours on it, so very, very low hours when it comes to, well, being on the track. This was basically a full-time track car. And I do want to drive it on the road a little bit, but, I mean, just look at this thing. Came with an extra set of wheels with slicks on it that are probably too old to use, so you can swap the wheels over. Street tires on it right now, the side pipe exhaust. And then under the hood, we have a beautiful engine. Certainly more power than 310 310 or something like that the original 350s had. I think this one dyno's at 375, which isn't too far off from my old supercharged 5.0 Mustang, believe it or not. But very simple in here. As you can see, there are no creature comforts. We are not adding Prius electric steering or anything like that. We are going to keep this bad boy Group B racing legal, which is, well, a very special thing, because there's not a lot of Hertz cars that are able to be in that category. I was told maybe 4 or 5 of them, and you're racing up against, well, real old race cars and R's, and one of the R's recently sold at Barrett-Jackson that was driven by Sterling Moss in vintage racing, sold for $500,000. I guarantee you I didn't pay anywhere close to $500,000 for this. Way less, but still very expensive for a Mustang. But oh my God. This might be the coolest Mustang of all time, and this one has an incredible story, and well, it's mine. It's now owned by the owner of the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. I can't believe it. And it's only possible because you all watch these videos, you like my videos, you subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. But thank you so much for watching and making this possible. And I've actually got a way to commemorate the moment now. I've paired it with a new merch supplier, Free Radical Labs, who is doing a pre-order on an incredible shirt based on this car, a black Hertz car with metallic gold stripes, and the final product will be metallic gold on the shirt. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Link below if you want to buy a Hertz Shelby Hoovy's Garage shirt. But now we need to load this thing up on the trailer and take it home. Yes, take it home.